We just had a guy called Sidion, and Sidion was just a normal farmer that farmed in Fractured Plains and Gillian Valleys. And since they didn't have to deal with the monsters we have today, the only things that they worried about are normal wolves and then thieves that took over and started attacking the villages. According to his first two touchstones, the first touchstone that you find for Sidion, which is on the very high peak of Dragon Tooth Mountain, like that big mountain in the center, his touchstone says that we can't wait for Zenithians' help to protect ourselves. We have to arm ourselves and do it ourselves. Because back then, the city really didn't care a whole lot for the farmers. So Sidion decided, screw it, I'm gonna become my own ruler or warrior and decide to help defend off the farmers. And his touchstone then in Gillian Valley was him defending off the wolf attack against some farmers. And because of his deed of defending off them, they made him the ruler of kind of the Zenithian farmers and the people that just lived outside of the city. And without going into a bunch of detail, because I've done a whole summary on Sidion, I'm going to go through the three key things for Sidion. As he went on in life, he found the three different artifacts that we have to go through, which is basically what the overworld dungeons are. So the Requiem and Obsidian Fortress, the Seething Depths, and then the one in the Emerald Desert overworld. And all three of those housed the artifacts. Though the first artifact that Sidion came across after talking with a few of the Amorite people is what we call the Mine Artifact. And basically, the Mine Artifact that we have, which is the one that looks like a radio, it doesn't really show. Well, it's not really the artifact, because according to Drift, the Talos, who is one of the gods of Zenith, who made the artifact, is actually embedded into the stone itself. Which is why Obsidian Fortress and Sky Song is just a huge essence well area. But because of that artifact, well, the Mine Artifact, it basically, long story short, it inspires people. So when you commune with that artifact, it basically makes you more powerful with the essence, and basically allows you to unlock more skills. We don't really notice that, but Sidion did get more powerful after touching the artifact and communing deeper with the essence, so his powers grew even more. As he went on, he built more of the farms around there. This is where it gets a little wishy-washy. At the moment, it's really hard to tell if he actually took over the city or not, or he was elected as the leader. But at one point in time, he finds the second artifact, which is called the Primal Artifact. Basically, what the Primal Artifact does is it's kept in the coastal regions. And what it's doing is, basically, you can control the seas. Sidion's touchstone, when he finds the artifact, basically says, the seas grow calm beneath my hand. So he straight up has the full power of the ocean and can control the tides on whether they go crazy or not crazy. And that gives him even more power. As he goes on, there seems to be a truth that happens between the Zenithian faction, which now Sidion now rules, and the Desert Empire. There's a touchstone all the way in Ruler's Reach, which basically says, which Sidion talking with the rulers saying the Zenithian fraction and the Desert Empire will now have a truth now and forever. Well, he breaks that truth because later on he gets the third artifact, which is called the Creation Artifact. And basically the Creation Artifact, it's used to make creatures, so it can basically allow you to make plants and animals or transform the animals from what I've seen. The only information we really have is when Lyra uses the Creation Artifact to start transforming even more creatures and making even more creatures. But Other than that, the creation artifact just allowed the Desert Empire, from my understanding, to keep flowing, because they had the Oasis, which gave water to and from the desert to places, giving life to the plants, but then they also used the creation artifact for a few other things. But at the moment, it's still not very sure exactly what it does. But after collecting all 3 artifacts, he kind of goes on, I guess in my opinion, a crusade, where he goes back through all of the regions and takes over all the rest of them. So Radiant Coast, one of the reasons why you see just a bunch of shipwrecks that are all rusted is because at the time when Sidion was taking over, he basically blew a bunch of ships out of the sky, and then they rested on the sand, on the sand beds, and just rotted away. So there's a lot of shipwrecks in the desert area, and also in Radiant Coast, because he just broke his truce with the Desert Empire, took over, and now he's basically the ruler of 2 regions. Then he works his way down to Emerite Forest. He doesn't destroy the forest, they actually submit to him, so he doesn't destroy it. But after that, he starts to basically rule in what I call kind of the golden period, because there's a few structures that I'm not for sure about if he made them or not. One thing seems to be is that he might have made the Obsidian Fortress during his rule. He also might have made the machines that we have in Ramshackle, but that also could have been before Sidion's time is when those machines were made. But after some time, he, like all great things, he had to come to an end. He got a little bit power hungry, and basically he caused the fracture that happened, which gave him a lot of powers after using all 3 artifacts. And currently the lore is that he dies after doing the artifacts, and his last words are Talos Samala, your essence is mine to control, you cannot stop me, and then he goes, dead. So, not for sure if he's really alive after that, but because of him, the fracture still happened. Other than that, that's basically as kind of a short summary as I can give for Sidion. A lot of the information I'm going off of is just the touchstones that we have of him, and also his voice lines about as he slowly goes into Descent of Madness. Because when you listen to the touchstones, his first touchstone, he sounds like a normal human, but then as he slowly gets corrupted by his power, his voice definitely starts to change, and he gets warped by the artifacts. But other than that, that's basically who Sidion was, and he was the reason why the fracture happened, which made the city close its gates, and a whole bunch of other events to happen, like creatures being transformed.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Zealots content, and remember, it's GG easy with EZ.